Hi guys, it's me. It's been forever. I know. I know. I think this is going to be the hardest video and the most personal video I've ever made on YouTube or I'll ever make. I'm not sure. So, guys, today I decided to start this video with a video of my school burning down because just a few days before this day I was on the 6th floor of this building and I was trying to convince the dean of my department that I do not owe the school 20,000 grievance for hostel fee because I had not stayed in the hostel for like 6-7 years. So it just feels surreal to me to watch it burn down and be utterly destroyed. Anyways, I'm not really good at vlogging or like my comfort zone is doing cake videos for you guys, but today I kind of feel like I'm in a place to talk and I can't really move forward. I already bought a light to start filming videos for you guys again, but I can't really move forward until I have addressed what happened in the past couple of weeks. It's been hell. Jesus, it's been hell. Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning, so you guys can understand me and maybe have context to this video. I don't know if anybody's going to watch it to the end, but I don't know, it's just for me. I don't even think it's for you people, it's for me. Anyways, when I was 3 years old, there was a prophecy to my parents that I'd be a doctor. So all the while I was growing up, if you asked me what do you want to be when you grow up, I was always a doctor. I never had any thought that could be anything else. I never thought about it. It was just always a doctor. I'd be a doctor. God already said I'm going to be a doctor, so I'm going to be a doctor. So, but I had like an epiphany. An epiphany when I was in 3rd year in medical school. I realized I hated medicine. Not like I hated medicine, I liked the school work, but I don't even like touching people. I hated the hospital scenario. I hated being there. Like, I hated the smell, I hated the looks, I hated the fact that I had to touch people. I don't even like people touching me, talk less of touching them. Anyway, so but at that point I was already in 3rd course and I didn't want to disappoint my parents, so that's the background. Okay, so on the 24th of February, yes, I was in my bed, I was sleeping. This video actually made it for TikTok. And then what woke me up was like sounds of clouds. I even thought maybe they were thunder, like thunder strikes at first, until a friend called me and was like, there are bombings close to your house. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I can hear some things, but it sounds like thunder. And then I looked out my window and then I saw people just carrying their boxes and leaving. If you live at the area where I lived, like, this is very weird. I lived close to the train station, so like there are lots of people there, but usually going to work or trying to come back from work or something, but it wasn't like carrying your boxes and just leaving. It looked weird, but I just didn't want to believe it. I felt like, okay, let me calm down and see what's going to happen. And then I was monitoring outside for more than 3-4 hours. That was when I became afraid because I could see people leaving. Like, if you check the train station, you can see people with their bags. I could see people standing and waiting for other people with their bags and stuff. And there were taxis going in and out of my estate with people with their boxes and like literally leaving. And it was becoming scary because I had a cake to do that morning. Like people were packing all of their shit. I had a cake that morning and I was supposed to send it to another city in the evening, but I felt it's not even that bad. So I checked online, I didn't see much, so I felt it can't be that bad. So I started working on my cake. So it was supposed to be like a cake with like a bag on top of it, like a Louis Vuitton cake with a bag on top of it, and it was really pretty. And I spent almost like 6 hours doing this, and I didn't think anything serious was gonna happen. I just thought maybe like shit will scatter and then within 2-3 days everything would go back to normal. But guys, was I deceiving myself? By the next day, like, there were bombings around me and I could hear it. And at that point it was no longer safe to sleep at home. So for more than about 3-4 days was still going like to sleep in the metro station. People were bringing their stuff there, would sit there and sleep there overnight till morning because it wasn't safe to sleep at home. As at the 5th day, like, shit was getting real and my dispatcher Sergey were sending me pictures like of different things happening inside the city. And like there was this particular day I was on the phone with my boyfriend and I was looking outside and I saw a bomb explode in the air and the building vibrated, like the entire building. I thought maybe the windows were going to fall off. That was when I thought to myself that okay, now shit is real and you have to leave. Like you have to pack up and leave. It was difficult, so I went inside and packed my stuff. There were some of my friends there because I couldn't stay in their houses, so they came to my place and then we were making plans on okay, how are we going to leave and stuff. Anyways, I went into my, you can't pack much because you don't know where you're going and you don't know how far you're going to go. And at this point, people were already going to the border, and I could see videos on Instagram and on TikTok about like people at the Polish border and how they were treating black people and all of that. So but at this point I knew like I have to leave. At this point I knew that even though I'm not a student, at that point it was just students leaving. Yeah, at this point I knew that my life first before my business or any other thing I've built. So I packed my stuff, took some clothes. I think I took about 10 pants and a few blouses and a few socks just to keep warm, and then I left early in the morning, around 6 in the morning, and then I went to Venetia. Going to Venetia was another journey. Venetia looked like nothing was happening. Yeah, there were too many people on the road, but it looks like nothing was happening. So Venetia was kind of a little calm because the fight had not gotten there, but it was obvious that people were agitated and a lot of people were going, leaving and going to the borders. But we felt okay, maybe things are going to settle down after a while. So we're in Venetia for about a week until, and every day we were watching CNN and it looked like it wasn't going to settle down, and there were soldiers everywhere and they were preparing to actually defend the city. So we went to Lviv. We were in Lviv for a few more days until we realized that we can't be here because it was just getting worse. At this point, like, you can't sleep. I was urinating like 6 times a day. So we decided to pack our shit and go to the Hungarian border. The journey to the Hungarian border was another thing. Yeah, luckily for us, yeah, we got like a taxi that drove us for about 10,000 rubles. Yes, from Lviv. It was just like a 2-3 hour journey, but people were cashing out and you can't blame them, from Lviv to the Hungarian border. So when he dropped us, you have to walk because it can't take you straight there, so you have to walk. Anyways, after we walked a couple of kilometers, we got to the Hungarian border and there were people there to receive us, and there was food and there was drinks, but that's not what you're looking for as a refugee. You just want to go back home. Plus, like, it hasn't even dawned on you that you're a refugee. At this point, yeah, I was exhausted, like I was tired. And at this, you can't stay here. This is just a place where you have something to drink and then find your way to wherever it is you're going. So most people would just take a few things at the border and then go to wherever it is they're going. Okay, so they got us a bus, which was really good, and we didn't pay for it. So the volunteers there got us a bus, and the bus, like, basically, guys, it was a journey. Anyways, the bus took us to the city of, it took us to one city like that. And then from that city, like, did you see the baby beside me? Like, people had their babies. God, I pity those that had children. Like, I think within 2 weeks, I had said to myself, thank God I don't have a child, more than 50 times. I'm not even kidding, because children don't know what's going on. They just want to be fine. And they were just crying. Like, I pity those that had babies. Anyways, so the bus took us into Hungary. Yes, so from there we took a bus to Budapest. Was it a bus or a train? We took a train and there was nobody on the train, but the great thing was the train ride was free, so that was really amazing. So when we got to Budapest, there was another group of like volunteers helping refugees. But one thing I want to point out here is the fact that for me, this is where the racism started. It wasn't like flat out blatant racism in your face or anything, but you can literally see that they're not there for you, because why are you here? You're a black girl fleeing the war in Ukraine. Like, they're there to help the white people, not really you. So it was a little bit difficult to even find people to ask questions. And another thing that I think worked against us was the fact that we got to Hungary and they were speaking Hungarian. Normally, if you are in Ukraine and you're speaking Ukrainian or Russian, you can still communicate and be able to ask a few questions whether you understand Ukrainian or Russian. But at this point, we didn't understand any of that. But there were people that spoke English, and most of them were, I don't know, Hungary just wasn't a very good place. Or maybe the fact that I felt like a refugee, I felt so miserable. I felt like, how am I here? How did I find myself here? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was a really, really dark time for me. I'm still going to talk more about that in the future. Anyway, so we finally booked an Airbnb. So we went there. We got a volunteer that actually drove us there, and she was so sweet. Anyway, so the lady was taking us to our Airbnb and she didn't get paid. She was a volunteer and she was so sweet. Anyway, so we got there and then it was supposed to be like a room. At this point, we are staying in about 4 different Airbnbs, and like it's as if somebody is using hose to suck on your savings. And I'm not kidding. Anyway, so when we got to this place, guys, it was supposed to be like a private room. That was what we thought. It was really cheap, and we felt, oh God, we got a really great deal, especially in this situation where there was nowhere for people to stay. So it was really cheap. So we felt like, oh God, we're so lucky. Anyways, when we got there, it wasn't a private room, guys. See, room one, it was like a hostel thing, and there were people living there like on the daily. God, I couldn't cry because like the filth, and the room was tiny. I swear you can't stretch your hand from, and my hands are pretty short. I can't stretch both hands from one side to the other without touching the walls. That was how tiny the room was, and the water was cold. But I couldn't complain because at this point I had not had my bath for almost 2 days. The water was cold. Jesus, there wasn't warm water, and the whole apartment was cold. God, but I couldn't complain. Anyways, the next day we moved to another Airbnb that was a little bit better, but it was a lot more expensive. And we watched CNN all day. Like, if you watch CNN, you just be depressed. And I hated the street of Hungary. I hated the street of Budapest. Not because it was ugly, but because I just hated being a refugee, and there were so many refugees around. Anyways, after a couple of weeks in Budapest, we finally went to Ireland because my fiance's sister lives in Ireland, so she invited us. And then we took the train. No, we took the plane and then boarded the flight and went to Ireland. Okay, finally, when we got to Ireland, yeah, I don't know, it was just good to be somewhere that feels like home. Okay, so if you remember at the beginning of this video, I talked about how I hated being a doctor and stuff and being in a hospital and everything. And that was, like a preview or a precursor, I'm using the wrong words, to the fact that I built a life, yeah. I don't think any of my parents wanted me to maybe be a cake decorator or be doing whatever it is I'm doing right now. So it was a life I fought to have. It was a life I fought to build with very little support. Like, I don't mean financial or emotional, like in every way, like very little support from the people I feel are like my support system since I was a baby. So it was difficult to kind of see it like be snatched from me. It was like a dream initially, but it's just really hard. It's just really hard because I felt like Kick Me Away was my baby. I feel like I gave birth to a child and left her in Ukraine, or they snatched her from me in Ukraine, or I don't know how to put my emotions into words. But where there's life, there's hope, yeah? So, I don't know. It was something I built with my hands for almost 8 years. Like toil. Yeah, I toiled. And now all of my customers are gone because 80% of my customers are foreigners, Indians, Africans, like Nigerians, Cameroonians, Kenyans and stuff, and then Arabs. Those are like 80% of my customers, and then maybe 10 or 20% are Ukrainians. Yeah, I don't have that many Ukrainians customers, so there'll be no one to sell to anymore in this Ukraine after the war is over, because the last thing people want to buy is cake. I don't know. Plus, another thing I think about is how safe will this Ukraine be for a black person, you know? Because a few days after the war, they stay handing out guns to people to defend the city and stuff, to everybody. Like, if I wanted to collect a gun, I could have easily go collect a gun, like, and they give you, like, there was no maybe vetting or anything, because the situation was a desperate situation and they were handing out guns. Like, my boyfriend wanted to go collect a gun, but I kept saying, what were you going to do with a gun? Like, why? Like, they were giving everybody. So, like, in my mind, like, even if the war is over, how safe will it be? But then, yeah, I'm thinking about my business. But then there are people that have lost their lives, lost their families, and like they can never get them back. At least I can build a business back. Yeah. So I'm looking on the bright side. So if you've watched to this point, like you're the OG. Thank you guys for always watching my videos, and I look forward to making videos for you guys in Ireland. I don't know what to look like because I don't have any tools. I swear to God, I don't even have a spatula. Like, I don't have, except okay, I have an oven, so that's good. So, thank you guys, and I will see you in my future videos.